Ladies and gentlemen, it is time. Game number 2 of the evening. About to get underway in front of us. It is going to be none other than Phntm once again on our screens, this time taking on Freakquency to see if they can make it 2 for 2 here tonight and virtually guarantee themselves a solid playoff place. We've seen them play phenomenally against the Invictus Fairies last time around, for those of you that missed it. A 3-1 fair. Both of the hard points, the Phntm side winning 250 to 201, winning the Search and Destroy as well 6-0, with the Invictus Fairies just about clutching an overload. It was a dominant performance on the overall from Phntm, and they will be looking to continue that fine form. So ladies and gentlemen, looking forward to getting into this one. Both myself, Zepcast, joining you today, and we managed to nab a co-caster for the first time this season. Please welcome none other Mark. How are we doing this evening?
Fantastic. Sitting there downstairs in the living room, the wife's ready to go to bed, and I was like, you know what, Zeb's got another cast. Why not jump up and join him?
Yeah, why not?
You were complaining about having an empty spot next to you.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's one of those days. It's typical. It's either everyone's available or no one's available. But then, you know, considering I schedule the damn things, I think it's my bad for not making sure that I don't have everyone reached out to in time. But folks, you know, watching at home, really excited to get this one underway. Again, you know, at Division 2, we're getting a lot of games played in this division. You love to see it. The team seem to be really enjoying it. And, you know, we've talked a lot about before this Division 1 that we have coming up this season, you know, and they're yet to still get games underway, but is it a pretty stacked division? And I know myself, seeing the level of players there, that's where it's been like attracting a lot of my attention. But there's some solid teams down there in Div 2 that, and you know, again, and as we discussed with Lenny last week, right, when we were casting here for the first week of the season, you know, it's a community league, right? It's for Irish players. It's trying to give a platform for Irish players. We're smaller, we have less teams. Because of that, when you're running divisions, you're going to have just a wider skill gap over the divisions. There's not as many people to choose from to keep things as well balanced. So Division 2 can really end up being a mixing pot of different levels, and it's really difficult to see, you know, who really is going to make, you know, be that top team. Because I thought going into this one that Invictus were one of those sides that could be there to win the whole thing. But I mean, as I'm sure you saw, you caught some of that game there that we just did. That Phntm side is scary when they're on form.
When I seen it was a 6-0 in the raid Search and Destroy, I was a bit like, well, wait a minute, a 6-0 Search and Destroy doesn't happen very often. So definitely a team that will be stirring that pot in that bracket and the whole Division 2, I'm sure, looking potentially to try and get themselves into that Division 1 and play against like teams that you said. There's big teams and big players that I even recognise that are in that team, that division as well for Division 1. So it'll be interesting to see how the players do face off against one another when that eventually kicks in, gets into rhythm as well, whenever that is. Is that maybe happening soon this week, next week, maybe for their Division 1 stuff? Or
yeah, hopefully. As I said, we just had some teams that were having some kind of late roster issues and stuff, you know, and then, you know, talks over how many games the division would actually play as well, given how busy a lot of those teams are this time around. Again, with, you know, we're fortunate enough to have such of a level of teams in this time around that a lot of these teams are playing in all the Challenger Cups, right? And something we didn't initially take into consideration was scheduling 9 games for them up until January and being like, hey, where the hell are we going to fit 9 games in, you know, when we have all our Challengers Cups to be playing? So we made a split in the divisions, but then when we made a split in the divisions, we had rosters who have roster issues that they needed to fix. So you had at times one group of a division only having 3 teams available to actually play each other. So it's been stop-start. We're working on it, but hopefully we're going to get them up and, you know, running soon enough. Again, I think a lot of those teams are eager to play. We're just about, you know, trying to find the right balance of kind of like, hey guys, you need to play your games, but also making sure that we try and cater for their needs as best as we can, because we know they got bigger fish to fry than us, right? So we got to play around that as best as we can, folks. And, you know, while we're at it here, as we, you know, the teams are getting ready to get underway here, it would be remiss if we didn't once again mention our sponsor over here on Spartanware, who have gracefully made us 2 COD Ireland jerseys home and away to take over to CDL Birmingham. Again, not a jersey to be playing in, but a jersey to wear to represent the community, you know, to show that you're Irish going over to CDL. I think it'll be a whole lot of fun. So if you want to pick one of these up, make sure to check out Spartanware. They also have t-shirts, hoodies, zip-ups, the whole lot. Mark, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe you have some merch as well over on Spartanware.
I certainly do, yeah, over on Mark of G, over on Spartanware as well. So yeah, fantastic company for sure to get on board with, and some great quality products as well for sure. I love rocking my like a couple of Spartan. I actually got my own top, but I also have another team's top from from Annex Esports, if you recognise that name
Annex,
as well.
yes,
so,
we have Annex in Division 1 and 2, as a matter of fact. So yeah,
I've
Annex,
got one of them as well.
Yeah, terrific team. And as I said, folks, yeah, make sure to check out Spartanware, check out Mark's store, check out COD Ireland store as well. We really do appreciate it. Again, the code COD Ireland for 10% off. And of course, if you don't like that Republic of Ireland flag on it, you can replace it with a Northern Ireland flag. You replace it with a harp. You can replace it with a shamrock, whatever it may be. We have a couple of generic options there as well for you to check out. But very quickly, folks, as we are running behind here, we'll take a quick look at the rosters as you've seen from the last game. We have Keyed, Lockdown, Charlie, and Drags over on the side of Phntm White. I'm not actually sure if Charlie's going to be playing in this one or is there an emergency sub. I did see something about that in the chat, but of course the teams have agreed to it, so we'll let it lie as it does. And then over on the Freakquency side, we have a lovely graphic that's actually completely frozen because we were having issues with the graphics changing about. But trust me when I say it was the best graphic ever, and I'll make sure to have it working the next time we go live with this Freakquency roster. But now going over to the maps where we have Blackheart, Scar, and a treble den. I mean, it's first of all, I was going to say it's terrific to see Blackheart making a return.
Yeah, it's good to see Blackheart for sure making a return, thankfully, after the issues at the start of the season here and kicking us off eventually. We're going to get it in the CDL version, at least in the third week starting. But we're here, we're back to it. It's good to see it back in return. It'll be interesting to see how Hardpoint goes between these two sides. Phntm White obviously winning their last series pretty convincingly in Hardpoint. Eventually they took that by about a 50-point lead in the end, but both of them ended on the exact same scoreline, strangely enough, at 250 to 201, which doesn't happen very often in two sets of Hardpoints either. So fair play to them. Maybe that's their lucky numbers.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, it's funny as well because it'd be interesting if they got to those scores, you know, in similar circumstances. But I mean, the game's played very, very differently. I mean, that map one between Invictus and Phntm White, it was very much all over the place with Phntm White starting to kind of pull it away a little late on. You know, they took a while to really, you know, make the most of the KD disparity we were seeing. But I mean, once they did, they were, you know, they were very much in the ascendancy, right? Whereas you go to that map number 4, it was just a case of actually Invictus, who were having such a strong performance, and eventually Phntm White were just able to turn it on its head. They were able to find the form when they needed to, and in the end, you'd almost argue won it in style.
Yeah, definitely won it in style. They started heating up, and other than Drags, just doing a fantastic work in the end. Fury was one of them that was going pretty well positive. He was about +7, +8 in the end. Yeah, fantastic performance from them to bring it back, because when it did look like they were kind of getting it a bit further behind than they're used to being from the get-go anyway. About 50, 60, 70 points they got to eventually, and they come back just in one hard point, and it changed the momentum for them and shifted them in their direction, and obviously makes them win the series 3 rounds to 1. So a good end for them to the day, but they're going to hopefully start off strong, just as they ended that last one here up against Freakquency, which will be an interesting matchup for sure to see. You said Freakquency are currently 1-1, isn't it? 1 win and 1 loss so far. So
yes.
See where we get off from here. It could be a mixed bag, could be one-sided here from Phntm White. It might not be though. Freakquency might just come out all guns blazing, ready to take the fight to Phntm White to make sure they're not going to be the team going 3-0.
Yeah, I mean, if Phntm White, if they manage to go 3-0, that is going to spell real danger going forward into the rest of the division. Not just, you know, on the side of, you know, the groups, but actually going into the playoffs. You know, if you're a side who is winning in that fashion, it really starts to make things look really dangerous, and you start to wonder where they're actually going to drop a game. But here we go, straight on with map number 1. It's Freakquency on the point. Seeing Blackheart back in action, it's going to be intense to begin with as Phntm try to get the clear.
Yeah, P1 always absolutely crazy. No matter what hard point you look at, straight off the rip, point 1 is always going to be just a mixed bag of fights going back and forward. The kill feeds going back and forward as it has been, but there's Russian lockdown finding 1 apiece, so Phntm White going to get a little bit of time here early on as the players are starting to spawn out here from Freakquency. So good bit of time to settle themselves down, get into their lanes and get into their gunfights and set themselves up for this next hard point going in towards P2.
Yeah, and I mean, it's one of those maps as well, but being a smaller, more intensive map, you can chain those points together really well, especially between P1 and P2. Again, if you're just able to slay out, you'll really reap the rewards from doing so. And again, Phntm, we've seen it on map number 1 on that scar in the previous series. A side that can certainly slay out once the cards start falling in their way. It takes a little bit of time for them to get going, but when they do, it is a sight to behold, as it is actually Rush who is subbed in for Charlie this time around. And I wonder how much that will affect this Phntm side, considering that, you know, Charlie, I feel like, was kind of an overlooked integral player going into the latter maps in that previous series. You know, you were always seeing him on that kill feed when we were seeing 3s or 4 downs. He was always picking up that off angle. So it is a loss for them, but Rush is more than making up for it so far.
Yeah, definitely. 6-3 so far, but that's 4 dead for Phntm White. So Freakquency is going to get control of at least 20 more seconds potentially here in P2, because Phntm White are so far out, and player number 6, number Rush, that we were just speaking about, has to try and win that gunfight on the outside. He does. He finds the 2, finds Graphics, and then Kite finds the next one. All of a sudden, you're going to have 3 dead, but you know what? They don't push that hard point, and they go back, and they set themselves up for P3, because the remainder of that time will go to Freakquency as they head to try and break in onto that Phntm White early setup.
Yeah, and folks who are watching the stream as well at home, make sure to let me know how the stream is looking, if we're seeing any lag, because I do have it up on my phone and it's gotten a little jittery, so I do just want to make sure that there's nothing going too awry on that end. I can try to switch it on the fly here again. Just make sure to let me know. But Freakquency, as you say, 44-26 in the ascendancy here at the moment, but Phntm still managing to slay out, still keeping up the kills and just trying to get on this time. And with a 4 down, they're going to be able to keep it up. And I mean, it has to be said, Phntm, the last time around, they were able to slay out so much, but weren't able to make much out of it. They were always struggling to actually make the most out of the kills that they were getting, but try not to make that mistake this time around.
Yeah, well, they don't do that. They find 4 dead. Freakquency is already the other side of the map. There's 18 seconds still to play for, and you know what? Freakquency have decided, we're not going to fight for this. And one goes mid-map, and it's Rush that's going to shut that down. He's 11-4. Only person on double figure so far early on after a couple set of hard points, and looking to push in and get aggressive here in the back spawn of where Freakquency have got set up next, ready for hard point. But Rush, sadly, don't know how, he must have finished that whole magazine before he finished that fight, and it didn't work out for him, unfortunately. But a good amount of pressure to put on that Freakquency side as Phntm trying to get in that break, and have done pretty early on, but they're still trying to hold the spawns if you're Freakquency in the back, and that's going to be Wiz trying to hold it as much as physically possible.
Trying to hold on here. And as well, Mark, do let me know how the feed is for you. The stream was jittering a bit, so I've turned down the bit rate going out to you. As long as things look okay, you know, for as many people as possible, that is what we're trying to set up here. Again, folks, I'm not a director at heart, alright, so there's gonna be mistakes. Please leave me be. But Rush now
off the one computer. I mean, it's always
yeah. I have one computer. I have an RTX 4080 and 64 gigs of RAM, and I think, very much running them to their absolute max. Maybe I'll have to start turning down the in-game graphics to a medium, as you know, I think maybe the bit rate and the amount that was pushing out just getting a little bit overboard. But hey, you bend it till it breaks, am I right?
Just showing off on that graphics settings and the amount of gig you've got there. I need more, but they're too expensive at the moment, and I can't afford to do that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, listen, I bought a bunch of RAM just before the prices have gone up, so I'll be sitting on that for life. I might trade it like stocks. You know, at this point, you know, I bought a RAM kit for 100, I'll sell it for 1,000, and I'm straight off to Cuba.
Yeah, sounds like a plan. But Phntm, they're off to Cuba so far. They're starting to book their flight into 3-0 position. 40 points up so far, and looking like they're going to hold the remainder of this time here. Freakquency trying to make their way in, but not managing to go through mid, not managing to go through the side. And they do get a wee bit of a break, but it doesn't last long, because it's Rush that finds one, then finds the second. All of a sudden, Drags in the meantime splits his feed as well. So that is going to be 3 dead on the side of Freakquency. So yeah, very much a Phntm White control so far with 60-point lead.
Yeah, I mean, it was a little bit of a slow start to actually get on that time, but again, are they a side that, you know, takes their time in terms of slaying out, understanding how well they can slay out against their opposition before they start to play more of those disadvantageous positions towards the point, right? Because as soon as they start to feel themselves, they'll just rush, as Rush does, push straight on forward, make life difficult. 19-8, disgustingly good performance as he makes it 20. All 4 players on the hill, and Freakquency have been shut down in these last few hills.
Just look at the way he plays the corners there as well, and keeps his life. That's unbelievable performance from him so far. Streak of free, 1 minute on the time as well. He's not exactly just doing the gunning, he is doing the objective as well. He's just doing everything for that side. Definitely a great pickup here in comparison to what we thought would have been a loss of Rush. Either way, it works out for the side of Phntm White. They'll be happy either way, Charlie or Rush. No matter what happens, it still seems to be winning ways.
And the slaying out really just paying dividends here. Is Freakquency struggling to get towards the time, struggling to pick up the kills. Only one player anywhere near a minute on the point, and that is Pooks, who is on 15 as well, the most amount of kills for his side. Definitely the MVP from their side, but will be wanting the rest of his team to pull up better numbers to try and get something happening here. As there is a push around the back, which could prevail, could make something happen from B-Wiz, but he does get taken down. And I mean, the retake from Phntm White is just phenomenal. And I think we're just also seeing a pace difference as well, right? We are seeing a Phntm White side happy to play at 100 miles an hour versus a Freakquency who, you know, again, they had the opportunity to get round the back there and they were very tentative. They were waiting for the opportunity, and by the time they got round the back, Phntm White were just happy to flank back around them and re-break.
Yeah, exactly. 100 mile an hour, all gas, no brakes. You know what I mean? Maybe that confidence from the first game. They've got themselves warm, the sticks are warm, and you know what? They're absolutely firing on all cylinders. It's exactly what you need with Phntm White. They've got a very strong lead, and very much so, I can't see a comeback from Freakquency. I just can't lie about it at this point in time. 218, I'm going into 219, sorry, to 66 here. Going into P3, but you know what? That's free dead instantaneously just as they get control of that hard point. And guess what? Phntm White are going to be breaking on in and getting the control. Can win it right here, right now. Here, 25 more seconds needed.
Yeah, I mean, that break was just phenomenal. We are seeing a team playing at a whole nother level here, looking to continually make life even more difficult for Freakquency. It is a case of damage limitation. What can you take into the rest of the series? Can you get yourself warm in time to deal with your opposition? It is looking increasingly unlikely unless they can pull some kills out of the bag here. Try and get over the 100-point club, but with Rush calling in streaks as well, anyone can get it, friend or foe, as he continues to slay out from the back, as we are seeing a whole nother level of player here, 29 to 10. I mean, this guy's a mercenary.
Going for triple positive here. Going for triple positive. Unbelievable. Just a pickup that you'd ever want on your team. Yeah, okay, I'll pull on your strip and get involved in the side for your matchup for sure. And look at the way he's performing. Absolutely dominating. Lockdown's doing a fantastic job as well. He's 26 and I think that's 26 and 19. It is on the screen. But yeah, a fantastic performance as well across the board, because every single one of them are over double and into 20 kills or more. So I mean, you can't say that it's just done by one man. They're definitely all holding their own, and that's it. 6 more seconds left. Players are all spawned out. Freakquency, no chance to get to that hard point in time. It will be Phntm White taking map number 1.
94 to 250. I mean, talk about making a statement. What a performance. And this is a team who's, you know, been looking confident in that first series with a few hiccups here and there, but I think we've seen a whole nother light to them in this one where, again, playing against one of the better sides, they had a close, albeit, you know, game where they still outslayed. Now going against a side who, with the greatest respect to them, may not be a side looking to take it all the way in this Division 2, and showing what they're really capable here of, with Rush being, as you say, such a phenomenal pickup.
Yeah, 28 of them non-traded kills as well. It's just absolutely solid. Like, he doesn't need support from his team. He'll just do it himself. He's running with that SMG, running through the back line, finding the kills where need be early on before the rotations even started, and make sure that Phntm White are ready to make that opportunity and get the spawns for the next hardpoint, and so on and so forth. And even so, he's been spending the most time on the hardpoint as well. So he's done everything you can ever ask a man to do in a game of Call of Duty. And it's exactly what he did. Finds the kills, finds the objective, and does the job for the side.
Yeah, I mean, look, just such a phenomenal performance here, you know, across the board from their side as they look to continue to keep this one going. I am seeing folks in the chat as well still saying we are a touch jittery, so I am trying to make micro tweaks here and there. Again, maybe it's the fact we're recording the gameplay as well. All of these things I can make changes to after the fact when a lot is happening. It is dropping massively. Again, appreciate everyone in the chat. Just, you know, let me know where the issues lie. Definitely some settings I can tweak on my end. Again, just trying to lower things slowly so we can keep the recording, so we can get this up on YouTube straight after the game. So again, do let me know as the game goes on. Apologies if it ends up getting very, very jittery, but appreciate you guys. Keep me in the loop. Let me know if it's all working. Going to see if these teams are ready to go. I think they are. I'm not seeing any side changes on my end, so looks like there's going to be no issues here.
Question then, Zip, right? Seeing as the picture's raid, is it definitely Scar we're going to, or are we going to raid for the Search and Destroy?
You know, that's a very, very good point and an astute observation. I forgot to change out the image. So, folks,
Scar, okay,
your eyes aren't deceiving you.
This raid, you'd be gutted if your Freakquency because it was a 6-0 in the last raid, so that's probably not a pick they would have wanted to do.
No, absolutely. Let me just double check if it is. I didn't. Did I even change that one? I didn't. I didn't change that map graphics. So, you know, we're going to change that on the fly right now. Scar, search and destroy. Boom! There we go. Magic before your very eyes. How does he do it? Very poorly.
I didn't even see it. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, no, didn't see anything. We're just straight on to map number 2, which is now they're loading into. I mean, am I just tweaking? They've loaded into Den. Amazing. I mean, look, these guys just do what they want. Of course, the end of the game. Okay, good. I thought they were just throwing me for a loop there, but
like,
you know,
wait a minute. Word is going to throw it all completely. We know there's lots of dens in the setup, but just couldn't remember when. It's not this.
Yeah. I mean, a treble den. I thought it was towards the back half, not laying through the center. What's going on? But folks, as you can see on your screen, Scar, Search and Destroy coming up, and I have to say, I mean, we can talk a little bit about the map as these teams are pretty much ready to go, so we'll hopefully be in the lobby within the next minute. But Scar is it's a very interesting competitive COD map. It feels so different to what we've had in the last couple of years, where we've had really sort of tight, close quarters maps. Granted, it isn't the biggest map, but I think it feels big in comparison to what we've gotten over the last couple of years.
Yeah, I definitely think it is a little bit bigger feel-wise in terms of what we have had in the previous iterations of Call of Duty map for competitive, at least anyway. I feel like it very much has the lanes that you need to be able to compete at a good position and competitively. I feel like it's definitely a very free lane map. It's very well set up so that you can get in between these different lanes in different directions as well, so the mid cuts and such as well. So it definitely makes for an interesting set of matches, whether it's in Search and Destroy or whether it is your hardpoint, which has been absolutely fantastic to watch in this, but even Overload. So it's an option for every single game mode, which is always a bonus.
Well, I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head with something there with this COD, is that it has been terrific to watch, which I feel like is something, with the greatest respect to older titles, has been sorely lacking as of late. But going now into map number 2, on board with Pooks for Freakquency, trying to get pushed straight up towards that A site.
Yeah, getting really aggressive early on, but then he's coming over the top here from Phntm White. He's going to be able to find the peak. He's going to send a nade over the top. Rush finds that first blood on none other than Rush, of course. Just can't stop it, but guess what? He's got a scope as well. So if that was a snipe, was it as well that he got the kill? I'm pretty sure it was.
I think
Looks like it's got to be a second one as well. If the X-ray vision was on Rush's hands, I'm sure he'd be trying to wallbang that. But unfortunately, we are the only ones that see that, and Phntm White see the other member of Freakquency and finish him off in round number 1.
And I mean, this Phntm White side has looked incredibly dangerous in the Search and Destroys, right? Because again, going back to that previous, the raid with Invictus, I mean, Invictus, granted, we didn't see them pull a lot out of the bag, but I also didn't see them necessarily do a lot wrong. I was just seeing a side in Phntm White who are really, really confident and self-assured in their Search and Destroy game. And I mean, I believe it was Charlie the last time around who was sniping on that S&D and went 10-1, I think, in the end up with it. So, and only getting dropped once and pulling up the sniper again, and even the kills he managed to pick up with the pistol. So a confident side with Rush just definition of slotting right in as the replacement, and Pook's picking up one here. Great first blood, but this Phntm side is one to be reckoned with.
Yeah, I think we've got that COD caster glitch, so that's graphics that picks up kill number 1 there, but just unfortunately we got number 44, which is technically number 4, and 4 and 3 is 2, 2 is 1. It's the fun all time. There's never going to ever change with COD caster at this point in time, but that's another opportunity there for Rush, trying to find a snipe, but in the meantime, Kane does find graphics. Pooks then falls next to Rush of Sniper, and there we go. It's a 2 versus 2 scenario. The lockdown with a bomb. Is he going to rotate? Is he going to look towards A, or are they going to full wrap around the Freakquency base? It looks like they are full wrapping, and guess what? Wiz is unaware of it. He's going the other way as well, so they're kind of wrapping to each other.
I mean, a good wrap here. Oh, hang on a minute. Put on your glasses, Rush. Hello. Hello. Rush not paying full attention there, it seems.
I'm surprised I seen it.
Yeah, we're old men and we saw it. What's their excuses?
Exactly. I'm sure Rush is probably about 20 or potential. Oh, he just skims past the head. doesn't get the kill, but they're going to get the information they need, and Rush is shut down. There we go, and it's going to be Drag's lockdown shut down as well, and enough time to get that diffuser done. Freakquency tying things up.
Yeah, great round from Freakquency. You know, evening that one back up again, having to be patient, and you know, I think against this Phntm white side, it's really the only way you can play, right? If you play an S&D to the timing, so to speak, in terms of when you would normally see engagement 1, engagement 2, you play like that, you're playing into the hands of your opponent. If you can drag a round out, have it be 3v3, 2v2, have the placements be a little all over the place, and hopefully rely on a little bit of timing, it could be your way to sneak more than a couple of rounds against this Phntm white side. And you know, you pointed out the Codcaster glitch as well. I gotta say, I mean, what is it now? Are we going into year 3 with this number glitch? I swear it's been here since MW3.
It's definitely year 3 from what I know, because that's the only 3 years I've been doing it for a while for Codcaster, that's for sure. So I had missed out the other CODs before then. So definitely for the last 3 years, I definitely had issues with Codcaster. So not a fun time, but you know, I don't know how they can make it so wrong and so every single time when there's the same thing every year. But yeah, there we go. Another round for Phntm white, and that's a pretty quick succession of kills to get that one done.
Yeah, and you know,
Drags 4-1.
It's kind of unfortunate, really, because you look at this push that Drags made. That was a push of a man who's very confident in his gunfight, so may have very well won it, but again, was kind of pushing a little bit away from his teammate to be able to play for the trades. I mean, if I can't remember who he actually took out there at the end. I believe it was Pooks, but if Pooks was able to stay a little bit more aggressive towards that site, you may have been able to get a pick and then getting into a 1v1 where it is anybody's game. I think, you know, Phntm white, again, greatest respect to, you know, what are a great side. I think they do have lapses of concentration in time to time that are there to be capitalized on if they can do it.
Maybe it's just a little bit of overconfidence, just overchow and thinking, you know what, we can run the show here, we can do this, here we go. Graphics is shut down though, and it is going to be Rush again, finding that first blood, opening up the round to give themselves that man advantage. Still looking to head towards that A bomb site. It seems to be the more favoured bomb site though, the A bomb site over here at the motel, but as soon as he goes to try and put that down, he's shut down, so we tie things up with 3 apiece.
We have actually seen the sniper been dropped. I'm not actually sure, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, I keep forgetting in this rule, how many times are you allowed to run the sniper? Is it 1 life or is it 2?
You're allowed 2 lives, so as soon as you die the second time with a sniper, that is it done. No longer allowed to use it.
Yeah, an interesting rule to say the least, to make sure that we have that gun, you know.
Oh, you keep an eye on that. You know what I mean? Like how you remember if he's took it out that round or not, because it's only if he takes it out. Like if he goes 1 round, takes it out, doesn't bring it out for the next 3 rounds, and then you got to remember that he's still not died yet. He comes out in round 4 or 5 or whatever, and then he's still got it, still stays alive. Like you're like, right, we've got to track this. Have we killed him twice? Is he what? You know what I mean? Like it's such a strange rule, but
yeah, it's a difficult one. But if it, you know, if it was one that was introduced, you know, into the game in the sense of, you know, it actually worked in the custom lobbies where it knew how many times you selected the gun and you got to select it once as part of the class. I mean, imagine having almost like a special weapon type of style where, say, like an LMG could be picked up, but it could only be used once and it's in respawn. So, I mean, again, kind of sort of a thinking out loud idea there with it, but, you know, it will be interesting to see an implementation of other weapons.
Let's make sure they get their Codcaster right first before we start thinking about all these other ones.
If there's anything we know, that is going to be the last thing that they get right, so we might as well just throw other things at the wall and see what sticks. As Keed pushing up around the side to pick up 1. Once again, aggression being what works the best here for this Phntm side as they pick apart Freakquency, who have done well at keeping themselves in this one, but have been nowhere to be seen on these offensive efforts.
Yeah, definitely. Bewis is fighting for his life, trying to get back in. He's spawn and try and run away from the ghosts that are Phntm white. Run it down. It's 3-2. Still close though. Freakquency's keeping this one nice so far. It's not a runaway as it was in Phntm white's last match up here on Raid when they were playing against what was the team's name again from
Invictus.
the last game? Invictus. That's it. Yeah. So yeah, it's not a 6-0 runaway. It is still very much a chance to win for Freakquency. They just need to find a little bit of a rhythm behind them.
Well, they have a chance to find the rhythm anyway. So far, going on to map number 6, Phntm white 1-0 up in this series, looking to continue the hot streak, the flawless streak that they now find themselves on. Freakquency needing these defensive rounds. If they want to win this map, there's no question they have to keep these defensive rounds going, as you know, these are the only things really going for them at the moment, is the ability to pull through these rounds. But the first blood to rush and now the push coming on through, things aren't looking good, but what a great kill taking that sniper out of the equation.
Graphics repositions as well, tries to get away from it, but hides is there. It's all down to B-Wiz once again in a 1 versus 3 scenario. Bomb's going down towards his A site, and there you go. It doesn't matter. Not going to have time to get the bomb down because the gun is going to be up and the player is going to be finished off before we get to the round. So Phntm will take a 2-round lead going into this with still good bit of momentum behind him, as Lockdown was the one to finish off the final kill. Gives away the position. You can see there the shots were already firing across the other side towards where Drags was, but I mean, that gives away the position. It makes it easy for Lockdown to shut him down and not even take a shot for it.
Yeah, and a crucial round now lost by Freakquency. Now they need to take a couple of these offensive rounds or else they are in deep, deep trouble. And you do wonder if they will start to target B, as A has not been working whatsoever. Need to try and switch something up here. It is going to be a mid-map push, but not getting into the smoke. Keed has the read. Surely going to pick up the second. And wow, a blink and you miss it round. Phntm White with the reads. Shut down Freakquency.
Yeah, you telling me maybe go to B, try and change things up. Instead of going straight to around towards B, they decided we go mid-map push. We try go run down the middle and 2 go round towards B. Drags finds 2 down there. And it doesn't matter whether he's jumping off the top of that or jumping from the height. He's finding that kill. It's match point. And it is a chance for it to close off search and destroy here for Phntm White going into this one. Potentially 6-2 kite on a 5 streak as well. So we're definitely not relying on the sniper of rush every single round. They're doing it all well and truly as things do. Drags as well, also on a 7-2 as well. So yeah, everybody across the board is finding the kills, doing their work in search and destroy. But they have lost that first blood this time round.
Yeah, and Freakquency need to pull a couple of rounds out of the bag again, at least to show that Phntm White can bleed, to prove that they're human, to give themselves some sort of opportunity. 2 versus 2. Lockdown picking up 1. B-Wiz and Pooks versus Rush and Lockdown here, as they're trying to commit towards this A site. Bomb is down, Rush with 1. That is huge. Now all up to B-Wiz. 1 versus 1 though. This is massive.
They're all the other side of the map as well, so he's going to get time to put that bomb down. Lockdown's going to get that and reposition himself. Is he going to go mid-map exactly where B-Wiz is? B-Wiz needs to try and win this fight, but Lockdown's got that position. He'd recognise that B-Wiz was pushing, so he's going to have the time in here to put B-Wiz's position and where he goes. He goes up towards that motel side of things. Lockdown's not going to be able to spot him from here, so both reposition. They might well run into each other, and they will do. Got to be B-Wiz, but he gets the shots off, doesn't win the gunfight, and he goes for the chow. He gets it. I thought he was going to wait to ruin that and completely lose by the re-chow like that, but he does it. And B-Wiz will get the bomb defused. Guess what? We still have another round on our hands. Still, a couple of map points though, going the way of Phntm White still, so they've not got this loss yet.
That reach-out was so scary. I mean, when he did not pick up that kill, as you say, going around the corner, not exactly sure where he pushed, holding the angle, didn't get the aim the right place to begin with. I actually thought he was done, just like yourself. But managing to pick up the kill, managing to hit that defuse and take a vital round. 3 more needed for Freakquency. So a very tall mountain still left to climb. But always starting with the first step. Got to give yourself a chance, but a self-stun is not the way to go.
No, definitely not. Slows down your opportunity to get towards that bomb site as quickly as you possibly can. Trophy system's coming about late as well, but Pooks gets that first blood. Obviously Pooks, but it's actually going to be graphics. It's Rush. They will tie things back up though, make it a 3 versus 3. It's going to be a full-on war here at the motel, smokes and all. But guess what? B-Wiz is once again in a tricky situation, but he's been kidnapped, and that's the way to end the round. I was like, oh, there's only B-Wiz on his own. Oh no, he's not. He's already been grabbed already in 6-3 win for Phntm. But what way to finish it off? He's like, oh, I'll just kidnap him. I see him below me. There he is. There's 1 from Rush, and then whoever it was that was below gets the final kill, because even though that was beforehand, you don't get to see it in the final kill cam, sadly, even though that was the last one to go, unfortunately. But yeah, the cheeky grab of B-Wiz to finish the round is just a way to top off a good scar. Search and destroy here from Phntm White.
Yeah, a little cuddle from behind at the end just to kind of console them through the loss, so to speak, as Freakquency struggling to get a foothold here in this series. But, you know, it has to be said, you know, Freakquency, they put up a fight there in that Scar Search and Destroy. Phntm White, did not look as comfortable as they normally do, or what we at least have seen from them in the Raid Search and Destroy against a team who, again, were a very, very strong side. So Freakquency definitely exposing Phntm White a little bit more when it comes to the non-respawn, but you know, going into the respawn, going into a den overload, Phntm, they should have had this lockdown the last time around and kind of threw really in the end up. So are they going to be able to lock in and get the job done now, or are we seeing them now in a bit of a weak link map and this is Freakquency's opportunity to capitalize? Because if den's not the map for Phntm White, well, Freakquency could have one hell of a reverse sweep opportunity on their hands.
Yeah, exactly. We've seen the Phntm White did fall in that den overload. It was close though. It was a 3-2. It could have been theirs. It should have been theirs as well, Phntm White, I feel like, in the last series. But Freakquency, if this is their map, and like he says, if it's not Phntm White, there's a chance to reverse sweep this. It will be a strange anomaly. They will consider the difference in scores between the first two maps. It does very much seem that Phntm White have that momentum and have that level of ability to kind of see the distance and find the game win in at least one of these dens for sure.
And you know, yeah, you got the compliment of a lifetime here, it has to be said, as we're getting ready to go into map number 3. James McAvoy, none other than Souther as well. Look, of course, he'd be a happy man with the jokes. His organization is smashing it here at the moment in COD Ireland as we get ready to get into map 3. Yeah,
he'll be definitely singing. I take it he's in charge of Phntm White then. Is that the case?
Yes.
Is that what you're...
I believe, unless now it's one of those things where I'm thinking about it too much, I'm getting a little scared as to whether or not he is, even though I'm nearly certain that he is. You know, when you think of something too much, it's like you think about how to pronounce a word too much and all of a sudden you start saying it wrong. That kind of way.
Like, it's like that when I look at people's names on any of the podcasters and I'm like, how do I say this and how is everybody else going to say this? It's always the same, but you know, it's like I'm saying Kaid, you're saying what did you say? What was? How do you actually pronounce it?
It's Kaid. I don't know. I say I've lost track. You guys at home know. It's the kid with an E.
You know what I mean? It's like Hyde. Oh, I don't know. God knows.
I'm sure we'll get him to tell us after this map 3. I'm sure we'll
give us your pronunciations. Maybe we should ask the teams that when they get their names and they give us their names, just write down how it's pronounced so we can just all use that as podcasters. But back and forward kills are going, and it was almost an opportunity there for Phntm White to get towards that B site, but all shut down just before the end of that the EMP getting detonated. I don't even know what, I've still not got used to calling it the EMP or the bomb, or, you know, it just keeps frying my brain at times when I'm trying to say this at fast pace, when they're moving as fast as they're going, and it's Pooks is going to have to try and shut down Rush here, but challenge comes out, that's the kill, and that's going to be our detonation done here for Phntm White. 1-0 up, and they actually went towards the A site this time around instead of the favoured B side.
Yeah, I think just really happy to brute force their way through Freakquency at the moment. Just get straight on through, not really worry about the tactics. They know they're winning on the gunfight, so why not just go straight forward? But Freakquency have an opportunity to answer back if they can pick up just a couple of more kills, but that position from Drags was huge. And I mean, it's one of the things that I feel kind of weird about when it comes to a den overload, because this side of the map in particular, there is no cutoff points through the center. So when you go through that side, you're completely committed to it. And I mean, I personally don't know how I feel about it. It sort of reminds me of that map with the train in the center before they opened the train. It feels like there's a lane missing there for this kind of mode, because if you can see where someone is all the time with that EMP, you need the ability to dodge and weave and not be sort of funneled into a death trap, I'd say.
Yeah, it is a bit unfair. It's one way or the other. Like you says, you go that way or you have to go through the whole length of the side of the den. And that's exactly what Lockdowns and Co are trying to do. Though all 4 players of Phntm are making their way towards that A side once again. We can see on the minimap there, Freakquency trying to set themselves up. Tries to go back and forward though, but it's the first player that comes challenging out. It's going to be left to just the 2 of them here for Phntm White. They find one, if they can find player number 44 in the back, which is going to be Complex. If they can find him, it's a chance to get that in, but the wraparound.
No to look at there, left or right, who to go for, but eventually getting out.
Too many people around. There we go, it's an opportunity as well. That's a nade, but it's going to not do the damage there onto Complex. But his teammate will finish him off and they'll start pushing it up through mid-map, giving themselves options here, because if you go through mid-map, at least you can go over towards B cut or over towards A either way. So
that's a
in
great
this position,
from Complex.
It's a good kill as well there, is to get themselves pushed forward and see Complex getting another in the back as well. He's going to try and finish off player number 5 of Kaid as well if he can. He looks like he has done so, and he's going to get a wee iteration for his hard work in the back. Complex It was fantastic work to push his way through and help his teammates to get this leveled.
Yeah, terrific work from Freakquency. As you said, just kind of committing to that mid-map, meaning they were able to cut through Dojo and just play a little bit wide, catch the timings, and just punch a hole through that defense to make a gap to run through, get that cap, and even things up. But last time Phntm conceded on this map, they evened things up super duper quickly, and they're going to try and do the same. But you do have Pooks, little Pookie Bear over there holding things down. Again, 5 and 7, not the greatest start to begin with. I think across the board, KD-wise, from Freakquency. But again, it's been the tale of watching both of these series tonight. Phntm, they can slay out, but they don't always reap the rewards of that slaying out. It's not as efficient as you'd like to see it be from time to time, but so far it's working in their favor, so why not keep doing it as they try to once again brute force their way to A.
Yeah, there's nobody there back, but they're over to the left-hand side, and he doesn't care. He decides, right, I'm going to jump down and slide, and all of a sudden he's below the gunfights. Phntm will get another detonation and take the lead once again. Now reset for back on towards A. There's no way of relaying this straight away because he's going to be challenged from graphics. He finds one, back and forward it goes though, and it's going to be a fight in the middle of the map once again to try and get the overload device. Because this is where it gets really interesting. Now that everybody's evened out here, we've only got 38 seconds left of this round. Phntm will want to go on the round in the upper hand with the lead, and Drags finds Freaky. Nasty, that is nasty. This is going to give an opportunity to push straight through over towards that B site potentially as well this time round, because they've expected you to go A every single time.
Well, this is just what Drags is capable of. Bouncing left, right, and centre. Eventually, it's Rush that has to take him down, and almost single-handedly forcing his side through to get that cap on B. 10 seconds left to go. 3-1 up. Confident is the #1 word of Phntm right now as they continue to slay out. Trying to get one more time.
Again as well. I think they've got this chance for getting A as well here. They finish off player number 4 here. They do, and it's a destination half time. There we go.
Stop it. What are we doing?
I think we're listening to each other. Look at this. We're on par with what we're both going to say. Exactly what we expected. That's a phenomenal way to end the half, just by going, you know what, 2 back to back as quickly as you possibly can and take this out of reach of Freakquency so far.
I think we may have just seen the series go 2 beyond Freakquency in the space of just 30 seconds and down to none other than Drags, who again, we've seen Keed pick up the 2. We've seen other players pick up 2. But whenever you're looking at players who to consistently pick up the important 3s, it is going to be Drags. And seen a little bit of lagging on the stream there again, folks. Again, it's a minute delay, so I'm kind of watching it in a minute back. Apologies for that. Hopefully we will have that issue fixed next time around when we go live. I'll just make sure not to record directly onto the system, try and alleviate some of the burden of my GPU that's currently crying. But who's also crying right now is Pooks, who's currently 5 and 14. Make that 15. Triple neg. Not where you want to be when you're trying to pull your side back into a series. But again, it's just happening because of what we're seeing from Phntm. I mean, this is a side who, when they feel confident, I honestly say you're looking at a side who could give some Div 1 teams a shot.
Oh, yeah, 100%. They're just looking phenomenal so far and just pretty much running the show. Know exactly what they need to do, even in Overload, a new game mode. People have still yet to get to grips with. It seems like Phntm know exactly what they need to be doing, but Graphics in the back, I can't believe he doesn't win that. No. I'd be shooting the body of Graphics there if that was me, because I'd be like, how have you not won that against me there? Unfortunately, Phntm are just in the right position and reacting a lot quicker than the guys at Freakquency are so far.
Yeah, and potentially have we seen a bit of a head loss from Freakquency as they are just not picking up enough of these kills, and Phntm are happy just to rotate back, take their time, edge it back and forth. Now going to go for the run towards Dojo because it is going to be Drags keeping them busy back there, and my word, I mean, Drags has been a key component of the last 3 caps. I mean, the fact that he was just such a presence in that back spawn just meant that no one from Freakquency was getting anywhere near that push through Dojo, and it allowed them to get another cap. And now we're seeing this one start to get pretty unfortunate.
Yeah, it is pretty much one-sided for sure. Unfortunately for Freakquency, it's not what they want to be seeing on the screen. But when you're just having Drag sitting in the back of your spawn, just waiting around, nobody near him, but he's just like, you know what, I'll just play around the statue, I'll take some shots, and I'll distract you all and make you all look at me and not pay attention to the guy that's got that detonator ready to overload inside your zone. But there we go, that's an opportunity to go straight back. He almost runs it straight through the defensive system, no idea how, but Drags finds the 2 and stops that once again in its tracks. And fortunately Freakquency are going to be 4 down with still 2 minutes and 40 seconds on the clock. It's going to be a difficult task to try and find them yourself, especially if Phntm White keep their momentum going as it has been doing, and kills back and forward well and truly going their way for the most part, at least.
Yeah, this has been the Phntm show. I think Freakquency, again, they're having opportunities, and they're going to get the opportunity here for another cap. And again, technically there is time, but how much of this now are we seeing just Phntm taking their foot off the gas pedal just a little bit? But they did do this before, and it bit them on the backside on this Den overload, so they can't let it happen again. Pooks needs to go huge here, and he does. Can he pick up another on the push? At least delayed. He gets one. There comes through the next cap. And listen, 2 minutes left. There's a chance.
Yeah, caster curse never coming back from this. All of a sudden, Freakquency I'm doing with the graphics. No way! If he got that third one, that would have been something else. You would need to rely on Pooks trying to get that device and take it mid-map. Unfortunately, shut down there by Kide, and the overload device is dropped mid-map. But still, Freakquency have opportunities here to get towards his B site. They finish off one player over there, player number 6. If you get in there, that is Rush. He's a hard player to shut down, but if you can do that, there's a chance to get another overload done, and it's not going to be done. He gets shut down.
Rush was ready. As we see it get cleared, get pushed back up, and that kill that he got in the center of the map is what gave Phntm the opportunity to respawn and get ready for that defense. It was a massive kill to stop it going 4-5, but now Phntm White, it just operation run down the clock, and with just 1 minute left, unless they get completely wiped and virtually spawn trapped, you would think it is going to be done. As we're once again seeing Drags, he's almost kind of getting ready to go through to be able to pick up some spawn kills, but the problem is no one on the side of Freakquency is dying. Complex has died now, so maybe he'll be able to pick up a couple, but he's just caused them to spawn further out. It suited Rush there, but Freakquency have an opportunity through the center, but dropping a couple of lives there, it's going to make life very, very difficult.
Yeah, it's only going to be just in a complex in the mid-map here so far, and like you said, Drags in the back of your spawn is now getting the opportunity to get a couple of kills, but that being said, 30 seconds left to get 2 uploads. Very much, unfortunately, not going to happen. Complex, so if he wins these 2 gunfights, Drags and Rush, so try to trade back and forward and find the kills needed. It's only going to be the last chance opportunity here, but he's going to have to try and force his way in. Sense the Semtex might get the damage done to 2, but it won't get that EMP detonated, and that will be our overload, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be finished up with Phntm in control of the device. 3 more seconds. Phntm White have won the series in a 3-0 fashion. A 5-3 win here, which could have been a lot more. I was actually surprised that Freakquency got a couple of ones back, because it's like you said, put off the gas a little bit maybe for Phntm White. But either way, Drags in the back of your spawn, you've got to deal with. That is one of the biggest thorns in their side.
Yeah, I mean, Drags, I think, was just a crucial component in their victory there. It was a phenomenal performance from him, as it was from the team. But again, a crucial couple of moments there where Freakquency, it almost looked like they found the rhythm, but just a second, or shall I say, maybe to be more apt, a minute too late. Right, they found their form, they started to pick up these caps, they started to get pushed into the spawn, and even towards the end there, I mean, that was a crucial nade that they threw in. It nearly got the job done, but they just couldn't pick up those final few kills. And all in all, for how dominant they were in that game, I would go out on a limb and say that I think it was just 2 waves of gunfights were the difference between Phntm White winning that one the way they did and Freakquency being able to take that to an OT. And we seen Phntm White go to an OT on overload the last time around and not be able to come out on top. So even though I think it was a dominant Phntm White performance, you know, I will again go out on a limb and say here that I think that one on the overall was closer than it needed to be in the end up.
Yeah, I think that's the thing with overload as well. Some like one little slip up from one of your players potentially, or just you're getting the wrong deaths at the wrong time, seals the deal where Freakquency were able to go back to back very quickly, and they could have done that again if they managed to get that final couple of kills just at the end. And then there's still 30 seconds left. There was still an opportunity to run that in for 1 and get a chance with that, because you've got the device. You still have extra time once you're holding that device, and all you needed to do was get another upload. You'd be done. And it'd be going to overtime. Unfortunately, it is not to be the case there for Freakquency. Definitely a minute too late to be getting things kind of moving for them. They weren't singing in the right hymn tune as everybody else was here from Phntm White, but a very, very good performance from Phntm White. That's 2 wins this evening already. A very good, strong side to be looking out for here in Division 2 for sure.
Yeah, look, an absolutely terrific side. I think, again, still more teams to check out as the divisions continue to roll, or the season continues to roll on here. Of course, we have the Christmas break coming up where, again, sort of a Christmas break wherein if you can schedule your games, have them done. We'll might do a little broadcast as well for it if we're free, but we're kind of running into the Christmas break into regards of the official proceeding, shall we say, of course, but teams are free to get scheduled to get through the games because we're hoping to have the playoffs, I believe, around the third week of January, and we'd like to get them done relatively concise because I believe season 2 last year, it took us nearly a month to get through the playoffs, which just ended up dragging a little bit too long for what we wanted to do. But again, look, fingers crossed we get more games underway, but I would say I think we're probably looking at a top 3 team here in Division 2 across the 2 groups. I haven't actually seen anything really from the Group A side of things, but of course looking forward to get those covered when we can. But yeah, I mean, look, it's been a phenomenal evening of games. Really, really fascinating to watch, seeing what that Phntm side could do. Again, a lot of recognizable names there who played in the last season of COD Ireland, and I think a team, we talked about there, could fight with the big boys maybe in Div 1. And this is kind of the point we'll leave on before we wrap things up here this evening. But it's an interesting one to where I can see people maybe having, of course, people are always going to have issues with these leagues and the divisions, how they split. It's always going to be the case. But I mean, I think in a lot of other seasons, you are seeing a team there that does contend for that Division 1 spot. I think it's just a case of, Division 1, as we talked about, so stacked this season.
Yeah, we're looking forward to seeing some Division 1 action once it gets going and get to see who is actually the top dog in COD Ireland for sure. It's going to be interesting to watch them. I'm looking forward. I'll be watching it all the time. If I'm not here and not casting alongside yourself, or even doing some casts for your COD Ireland teams, maybe potentially as well, if they're needing some individual games casted along with the kind of overall league that you've got. Obviously, there's multiple teams, multiple different games going on at the same time in different days. So if there is opportunities, I'll definitely try and pick up some games for some people as well, if they need be as well, if we're free, or if I'm free and you're maybe not free, I can maybe just run a game for them as well if they need it casted, if some players like to get themselves on board, because I love to show you off. I'd love to show you off on stream, get to see how these players are performing, and you know what, it's also a VOD that you get to watch back, because you don't get to see it from the perspective that we do, which is always a bonus as well for players that are wanting to learn and get better as they progress through their career in Call of Duty.
Yeah, absolutely. So you heard it here first, folks. If you have games that want to be covered throughout the season and I'm not free to do it on the COD Ireland channel, Mark will try and make himself available to cast. Again, at Mark of Geekcast as well, over on X or Twitter as well. As you can see the @ there. Make sure to go throw him a follow, throw him a DM for whenever you want your games covered as well, and just to keep up to date on what we're doing. And sure, Sepcast_, you see it underneath me as well. Make sure to go over and give that little bit of a follow, along with COD Ireland as well over on Twitter, ladies and gentlemen. That is where we're going to leave it for the evening. If you are late and you are just catching up, Phntm White, terrific day that they have had here. 3-1 and 3-0. Arguably could have been 3-0 throughout. They had moments where they looked shaky. Definitely areas to go back to the drawing board with. But an overall, a very, very confident, dominant performance from them, as they are a team that here tonight has stapled themselves down as easily, in my mind, a top 4, if not top 3 Division 2 team here this season, who will be looking to make one hell of a run when it comes to the playoffs. And Mark, anything else you want to add to the end of this?
No, it's been a pleasure to join you for the final game of the evening, Zeb. I appreciate it once again, and looking forward to doing more of them for you yourself and just alongside you, no matter where we are. It could be anywhere on screen, but I'm looking forward to what the season brings here for Black Ops 7.
Yeah, sure. I mean, look, you might be, if you're watching things, you might be seeing me and Mark this Sunday, potentially. We just found out, I just found out I'm free for something. So, I mean, it could happen. We don't know. And I'd love to tell you what it is, but I've been that out of the loop the last week or two. I genuinely don't have a clue what actually it is for you, but I look forward to figuring out what's going on and seeing whether or not we can be a part of it. But also as well, folks, UGT Sammy coming in with a follow 10 minutes ago, and Ultimate Slay and Jan87 all coming through with the follows, edging us ever close to 1,000 followers here on the COD Ireland page. Appreciate y'all. We're going to leave it there, otherwise we'll be sitting here rambling all night. Been terrific bringing you the games this evening. We'll hopefully be able to bring you more early next week. Again, it's a case of, if you all got games scheduled, give me a message, put it in the scheduled matches. We'll see if we can get streams together. We usually like to try and do them every today, every Wednesday for our bats, because that's when I can kind of guarantee I'll be free. But if I'm free for others, we'll get him covered. We'll get him covered here in the channel. And hopefully, as you said, Mark will try and cover some as well, whether it's with me, whether it's on his own. We'll get as many as we can cover. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching. We will see you in the next one. Until then, take care.